Hey, and welcome back to the Noonchi Podcast. What's up, Danny?
Hey, everybody. What up? We are in Zoom mode again because someone in the office got COVID. And so it's pretty much essential workers only. And given that I am not essential, I am at home while Bobby is more needed. So he is essential. So he is in the office and I am at home.
I'm
just
literally
lounging out.
I'm literally the only person here today. So it was me and the cleaning lady. So it's been interesting today. It's really quiet and peaceful, but also it's a little eerie. It sucks. I could have worked from home, but I needed access to some files at the office, and we don't in production. We don't have laptops, so
right. I read somewhere someone posted a meme that said that if you don't know anyone with that contracted Omicron, it means you don't have any friends. So, so in my estimation, I'm a very popular guy.
So you know a lot of people with Omicron?
Yep.
Are they all? It's all mild symptoms, right?
Like no one's cold, no one's hospitalized. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great news.
Mm-hmm. But Korea, as of yesterday, pretty much hit the 50,000 infected mark.
Okay.
And so now it's going strong. Yeah. To which I go, hey, so guys, this 9 o'clock thing, it's not working.
Yeah,
I just want to let you guys know that this 9 o'clock thing's not working if you put it in place and we went from 2,000 to 50,000.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah. I mean, it seems inevitable. For me, it's trying to hold back the inevitable, push back it as long as possible, because baby number 2 is coming within in 28 days from today. So by the time this comes out, So
hate to be crass, but a perfect timing for conception, Bob.
Well, geez, story of my life, perfect timing of always being screwed over in some way. Has been. Don't
victimize yourself, motherfucker. You're the one that put it in, cocksucker. You're fucking. You know what I mean?
I'm not afraid of contracting Omicron. It's just my wife and I just don't want to have to deal with anything else besides the pregnancy and the birth at the moment. Just because there's quarantine involved, and there's if I can't be there 100% to help out, I'm gonna feel terrible. Just trying to be as safe as possible. Even coming in today, it sucks, but I had to deal with it, right? So at least no one's here.
Yeah.
And the buses were empty, dude. I came in this morning. And there was no one on the bus. I wonder if it's because people are being ordered to work from home, and no one's coming into Gangnam. But I was really happy about it. There was no one on the bus, and then I'm wearing.
As you are happy, I am the other way around, where I'm like, this is going to affect attendance of the comedy shows.
Yeah, right.
So I'm kind of just annoyed, but what are you going to do, right?
Sure.
Switching gears, pivoting, as the kids say today.
Yeah.
So I am, when I'm bored, I am just heavily on these dating apps, right? And then I recently matched with somebody on Tinder who said, usually, like, I don't want to say it's etiquette, but usually when there's a match, the guy probably does the initiation on Tinder, right? Being like, hi, blah, 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 nice profile pic, yada, 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 whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she makes the initiative and goes, oh my God, wait, are you Danny Cho? And because, you don't have a last name on there, right? And I go, yep, it is I.
Yeah.
And yep, it's me. And she goes, basically, long story short, she is from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently people, for a time being, especially the Australian Korean community, were watching K-Town Cowboys. And I said, hey, the fucking pussy on the show, he also lives in Korea as well. And he's like, oh my God, no way.
So this person is old, like us.
She's younger than us by probably 2 Olympics.
Okay.
Well, for you, she's almost 3 Olympics behind you. She's a president and a half away from you. But
oh man.
Yeah. So, it goes to show that we are kind of like the the love boat of the Korean, American, Australian, Canadian community. It's like a throwback show. We're the Threes Company. We're the, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, speaking of Tinder, I recently watched a documentary on Netflix called The Tinder Swindler.
Yeah, I heard about this.
And basically it is about a guy who cons his way of getting millions of dollars out of women he matches on Tinder. Now, I think the con is kind of brilliant, right? It's kind of, so the documentary starts and it's this girl who basically talks about Tinder and like she meets this guy, right? And all his photos kind of represent like his lifestyle, which is like in a private plane, on a yacht, on some kind of tropical island, expensive cars in the background. Like he is just flossing, and she was taken aback by not just his pictures, but she said it was cute, right?
Yeah.
They match, and immediately he goes, hey, I have to fly to Bulgaria in a few hours. I'm at this hotel. Would you like to meet? And he sends a Google Maps link of this pretty expensive ass hotel, right? For some coffee or whatever. So she goes, meets this guy, and she falls in love with his elegant way of dress, the way he speaks. Basically, she is taken aback, and she likes the way this motherfucker's presenting himself, right? And so he goes, hey, like, I want, I really like this conversation. I was wondering if you want to come to Bulgaria with me, right? And then she goes, okay. And so he sends a driver with her in a fucking Rolls Royce to her place. She packs up her shit, and they meet up at the airport, and it's a private jet all the way to Bulgaria, right? And basically wines and dines. She fucking goes, oh my God, this guy's amazing. And they have a quote unquote connection, right? And basically, long story short, he is not, he claims to be the heir of a diamond mogul, right? So this guy who owns a diamond company, and he claims to be the son, right? And he's, he calls himself the Prince of Diamonds.
Oh, and so he's basically, the scam is like private jet, all this stuff probably rented and gets her to believe.
Well, rented, absolutely. But what it is the way he does it is that he uses other people's money. So she's not the first one. He's been doing it to another person, right? And what happens is, so the con is this. The con is he's like, yo, like, my enemies are trying to like sabotage me or come get me. So I'm going to have to shut down my credit cards and whatnot, right? Could you loan me $50K, right?
Okay.
Now the move is, hey, he already took me on a private jet.
Yeah.
He's wined and dined me. He's clearly a baller.
Right.
Like, the $50K is going to come back and some more, you know what I mean? And so he did that. And so these girls would give him $50K, $20K here and there, right? And then he would use that money to keep the con going with other girls.
Okay.
So basically,
everyone is basically financing the other scam. Like, it's like this. Yeah, right. Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, it's a Ponzi scheme pretty much, right? And finally, like, a few of the women that were in the documentary, they were victims. So they decided, you know what, like, I'm going to get back at this guy. And so they call the newspaper, and then they do some investigative journalism, right? And to bring this guy down,
And that's how it basically, he gets caught in the end.
He gets caught.
Oh, well, clearly, scam.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that, like, he was pulling the scam on another girl who happens to read the article that was like a detailed ass article and whatever about the whole situation, right?
Okay.
And then she finds out that, wait a minute, when he was asking money, he was playing with these bitches that were like basically in the article. Yeah. Right. Because she was doing that was last month, blah, 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 blah. She was backtracking, doing the detective work herself. And she got pissed, but she didn't. She was like, hey, what's this? And she sends the link to him, and he goes, these are all lies. My enemies are manipulating the media, and these are all lies. You can't trust it. And so so what her move is, and she's smart, because, he's like, I need money. Can you loan me another 20K or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So she goes, hey, you wear all these like designer, like expensive ass clothes and watches and whatnot. Why don't you sell them? Right? I'll help you sell them. Right? And then he goes, okay, come to where I am. So she goes to like Amsterdam or wherever the hell he's at. Yeah. And packs up like 3 big ass immigration suitcases worth of luxury goods and brings it back home, and she starts selling them on eBay. Right? Now he goes, hey, so like, how are the sales going? Right? Like, I need the money quick. And she's like, oh, nothing's being really sold right now, but she's like fucking selling like, a bunch of goods. So she's making money and keeping it for herself, because she's already loaned this motherfucker a lot of money. So basically he's now super broke, and eventually he says he's going to come back home to fix some things. And she calls the police to be like, hey, he's on a flight back and he might be using a variety of names. Here are some of the names. He gets caught. He goes to jail. He was sentenced to jail for 15 years. Okay. But he got out in like 5 months, and he's scot-free right now. Damn. Yeah. And he's pulling the same, supposedly he's pulling the same moves. He's still on Tinder. He's still doing like rocking that luxurious life, Okay. So to me, it's fascinating, because like a part of me goes, like the main girls are like, I was looking for love and I thought I had it with this guy. And I'm like, bitch, it wasn't love. It was a private jet. Right. Like, and this is what I say. I go like I met a lot of like ballers for example, in Korea, right. That make a lot of money, right. They're millionaires, right. But they ain't traveling in private jets. Right. So I think the private jet situation kind of just kind of made her like, ooh, woozy, Yeah.
So, I've never been on a private jet myself, but if somebody invited me on to it, instinctively, I would think that person is not a millionaire, but a multi-millionaire, right? Or, right. Or, I mean, or even a billionaire, right? Like people with just mere millions don't travel in private jets, right? So
now maybe first class only, right? But but yeah. So part of me is thinking that clearly, he hooked on some gold diggers, and they weren't like young, like teens, like, late teens, like early 20-year-olds. They were like women in their early 30s, right? Who probably have a job and stuff like that so that they can get fucking loans and cash loans, right? They have some, whatever. And so I think it was strategic on this guy to do it. And a part of me is thinking I should just cancel my Tinder account and just start anew and just like upload, pictures of me kind of in the way background, like far end, but like, like hanging out with celebrities and like, you know what I mean? In front of nice cars and just like flex on them on the pictures. You know what I'm saying?
I was listening to Bill Burr's podcast this week and someone wrote in, right? And I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I got up to this part where, he reads fan mail, right? So there was one person, they recognized themselves as Asian and short, and he can't seem to get a date, or like or beautiful women to like him. And then Bill Burr, of course, he goes on a rant. He says he's asking for advice. He's like, it's money. What are you talking about? If you're not a good looking guy, there's no way you're going to get anywhere without money. Like there's no way. Like no one's looking for somebody that cannot afford, so make a lot of money, Yeah. Like, so people are attracted to security. People are attracted to the fact that, they're not going to end up homeless. So
right.
It's fair,
Yeah.
It's those are the breaks, but it's fair. Yeah. People want security both ways, men, women, whatever. Everyone wants security. Everyone, whether it's monetary, whether it's money or it's emotional support, whatever it is, but it's just like the general rule is money. So get that money and stop complaining about your ugliness and shortness and stuff. All that stuff.
So like, I'm thinking like, obviously these women that he conned it's not even just like normal stability. It's like, I'm going to be upgraded to like VVIP all my life if I marry this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can see the appeal and how he got away with it. Like it's not like I'm sure I've been hearing a lot about the show. I'm sure it's entertaining. Right. Like people love watching those kinds of like bank heists and how it was done, especially when they get away. Like the infamous, like, I don't know, there's some sort of appeal to people, those stories, right? So I see the appeal and the, why it would be popular to watch, like that Fire Festival thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, a part of me also thinks in this direction, right? Where they made a documentary about this guy conning these women out of all this money, right? But then there's never going to be a documentary about like basically, and this is a story that I've heard hundreds of times where, like, for example, like athletes, right? They go to like the All-Star weekend somewhere, right? And have sex with a girl, right? She gets pregnant and she keeps the baby, so that she can get money,
Okay.
So a part of me thinking it's not the exact same con, but it is a similar con to a certain degree, where it's not about love or whatever, but it's like I scratched the ticket to stability, right? But you'll never see documentary about that because there's way too many subjects, right?
Yeah. It's in the same category though, same arena. so to speak.
Yeah, but one is, you know, like a popular documentary on Netflix, and one is, you know, not. You know what I mean?
In plain sight.
Yeah, dude, come on, man. Like, you know, Sean Kemp has 10 babies, or apparently 10 different kids. Steven Jackson has 10 kids with fucking multiple different women, right? There's a bunch of athletes who have a ridiculous amount of kids with all these different women. And I doubt it's because they're allergic to latex condoms. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Did you watch that?
You know,
is that documentary a series documentary, or is it just one, like a?
It's just one. It's one
90 minutes.
Yeah, a 2 hour joint.
2 hour thing. Okay, I might check it out.
Yeah.
Although I mean, like, spoiler alert, but it sounds interesting. It sounds like something I would watch on YouTube. You know, there's a lot of those.
Apparently, like this story has been around for a while. And so, like, there have been YouTube clips and like, like, you know, like exposés on the dude, but then like now it's, you know, a full length, you know, with sound score and nice chyrons and a lot of After Effects and, you know what I mean, like better editing and stuff like that, right? So, to me, I was just like, wow. I was in a weird way kind of rooting for the guy, you know.
I know what you mean. What you mean. Like, it's this weird phenomenon like that exists within. I want to say everyone, but it's like seeing someone get away with like a bank robbery. You know,
right?
I mean, like it was. I don't know. It's somewhere along the lines of just kind of like thinking of like old day robbers and criminals or gangsters, mobsters, like trying to like heroizing them or like making them like I don't know, like Jesse James.
I mean,
like they're so fascinating. Billy the Kid.
I don't. Obviously, I think this is a little bit different, but I liken it to, personally for me, like
getting off of a speeding ticket.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, like, but being like, oh my god, you fucking pulled it off, you know?
Yeah, I think that's
you know, and
you're more
and to me, well, he didn't pull it off at the end because he went to jail, but like he's still doing it, you know what I mean? And I go, the amount of discipline he and work he put into, and just not him, he has people that around him that are quote unquote his employees or business partners or whatever. So so it's not just him, it's like he has a team, right, dedicated to pulling off this con, right?
Okay. I you know what it's making me think of? Like, you know that movie Catch Me If You Can with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks? You know, clearly he's defrauding everyone in that film, and it's a true story, right? But
right.
But you want him to get away with it the whole time. Like you get the sense of like, oh man, this guy like is really smart. He's not just a bad person. They set up really well where, you know, he was kind of forced into that life because, you know, his parents divorced and he was afraid to live in a life with single parents or went on, ran away, and just kind of took advantage of the skills his father gave him. Right. So, and then you're constantly hoping he doesn't get caught. Right. Although he's like defrauding countries and stealing money and, you know, doing bad things. But like, I think part of the reason also why it's so appealing is, you know, he's just misinformed, or like his talents eventually you find out are used in a good way. because he just didn't have a father figure, or he didn't have someone giving him the option to use his talents to actually better the world and better himself, right? And so you want to believe some scammer like this Tinder guy, if he's smart enough to pull this kind of thing off, like he's probably smart enough to make money legitimately, right? And so I think it goes back to that whole idea of us being attracted to genius, being attracted to even comedians. Like, I love comedians. Mainly my favorite ones, I believe they have brilliant minds and they're smart. And I'm just attracted to the fact that their mind works in a way that mine doesn't. And I'm just in awe of it. Right. So I think that's all interconnected. And yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of wanting to watch this thing now. The show, just because I like stories like that. But more so, but like hopefully this guy's life gets turned around and he like finds a different like source of doing things legitimately. That would be nice.
I don't even care about. I don't even care about that shit.
The victims.
A part of me likes to hear the downfall of gold diggers.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, there's some aspect of that. Even not watching it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I don't give a fuck about this dude redeeming himself and using his skills to be like a nice guy in society. Yeah. I want the downfall of gold diggers. And you know why I say the downfall of gold diggers? You know why? Because these women who basically took out loans under their own names, right, are still paying off $250,000 debt.
Oh, okay. Oh, right, because it's in their name, they can't. They're liable.
Yeah. So I'm like,
you're just mad that these types of women on Tinder are probably swiping left on
me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So
absolutely.
So you're So there's some sort of resentment that lies within that. You're getting satisfaction that they're, these gold diggers are paying the price. To a certain extent, although they are victims, but there is a certain amount of gold diggery that sounds suspect. So
absolutely, But it's interesting is that like when apparently the article came out, and obviously these days it's not on actual physical newspapers; it's all like online, right? And so the people can leave comments, and there are tons of comments about accusing these women, being like, "This is what you get for being fucking dumbass gold diggers." Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like blah 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 blah. Why would you even take out a loan for $50,000 for this guy, even if at the time he's your boyfriend? What are you doing, right? And then there's also other people that go, no, these people have been through a lot. It's terrible. Hope you catch the guy. Hope you get some, redemption or whatever. But I'm like, ha, ha, ha.
Well, hopefully the happy ending for the victims is, it knocks some sense into them to, swipe right sometimes on guys that look like you.
So they asked. So one of the main victims, or the women that were featured on the documentary, the interviewer asks her, "So are you still on Tinder?"
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm still looking for love." And I went,
Mm-hmm.
"You're looking for love, eh? Good luck with that."
Yeah, I think multimillionaires being on Tinder. I had heard something that they have actually different services for millionaires.
I'm sure there's a different app.
Yeah, they have apps for people with certain salaries.
I mean, there used to be an app legitimately called man, I forget what the site was called, but it was connecting sugar daddies with sugar babies.
Okay. Okay.
So guys that are willing, and so basically, look, I'm going to pay you a shit ton of money to be my sugar baby, right?
Yeah.
All you need to do is be my companion and basically doll up and, you know, look pretty in certain functions.
I'm sure it went the other way around too, with women with sugar mamas and sugar babies, right?
I'm sure. But from a while back, I heard that there was a site that exists that connect basically high wealth men with attractive young women who are willing to basically outwardly be, I don't want to say gold digger, but basically be compensated for their appearance.
Okay.
You know?
No, I believe it.
So I go,
things like that, I'm sure.
So, yeah, I mean, you were saying that you believe that there are millionaires, you know, at different service. I don't think it's on Tinder. I think it's on different apps, because why would millionaires want to converse and interact with common folk? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Apparently now, not even that, just people do it on their on their DMs. They don't even have Tinder. They'll just go on the explore function and be like, "Ooh, she's hot," or "He's good looking," and then just you know,
on Tinder, like the
no on Instagram.
On Instagram. Oh yeah. Sure. I'm sure that happens too. Interesting.
All my DMs I get are fucking dudes going, "Yo, man, mad respect. You're hilarious." And I go, gee, thanks. I appreciate it. So
I stopped reading my DMs, like, because there's too much spam, but also I don't know. I'm sick of Instagram for the reason, you know, I wasn't scrolling for a long time. I was just uploading like once a week or so. Now I've been doing more so than often, just because I miss seeing what everyone else is doing. Like, I just want to catch up, right? But now, as I'm scrolling through the main whatever page or whatever you call it,
feed,
there's only advertisements or sponsored stuff, or it's so annoying. I can't get to like the people that I'm trying to catch up on. So it's incredibly frustrating. I didn't know that it's gone to those lengths. So I'm very upset with Instagram. I would even pay a premium at this point to get rid of all the ads and sponsorships.
Instagram Premium. That's a good idea. Yeah. You're not going to get money off of it, but you should be like, "Yo, can I get Instagram Premium?" Kind of like YouTube Premium without the ads. Can I get Instagram Premium where I don't see any of this nonsense?
Yeah.
How much would you pay for Instagram Premium?
Like $4.99. Something like that. Yeah, I don't use the app that much for entertainment. Like, I know they have like reels and short videos and whatnot, but I don't really go there for that stuff. So I would pay less than what I would pay for like a Spotify or YouTube even, because I think I just spend more time on those platforms. Speaking of Spotify, oh my gosh, all that stuff with Joe Rogan, and just like everything that it's like, it just opened up a door of like a Pandora's box, I guess, or of like all this shit. Like, it started with one thing and it opened as another door, and like this was interesting, where Joe came out to apologize for talked about Neil Young and all this stuff, and then The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was like, "Good on you, you did the right thing. Let's have a drink sometime, or tequila or whatever." And the people were on giving shit, and then something else came out on on Joe again, using the N-word like multiple times and all this stuff. And then The Rock said, he changed his mind. And then now
He
people
said,
are
I don't.
trying to, and then so I looked up some of The Rock stuff, and now they're trying to cancel The Rock for things he said in the past about like transgenders. He made fun of transgender, like, and so it's just like starting to like cancel everyone that is within this. Like Neil Young's getting canceled, for like his, because people are split on his decision, and then all these like people are coming out of the woodwork, like that you haven't heard of from these artists forever, and then they're like, are they doing it because it's a perfect opportunity for them to be in the spotlight again? Like, and then all this stuff. Who actually said the most interesting thing, I think, within all the news was what's that artist that is known for the auto-tune? What was that guy? The
T-Pain?
Yeah, T-Pain.
T-Pain.
Yeah, I think it was T-Pain that got into the controversy as well, and saying, I don't think he was for Joe Rogan, but he did say one thing. If you're gonna cancel Joe Rogan off of Spotify, then you gotta find everybody and take everybody off that has something that you're not happy with, because it's out there. It's just you didn't go after them before, but so you can't just cancel Joe for saying the N-word. You have to cancel every other artist that you can dig something up on them of that equal, offense. And he had a point. Like, I thought he had a point. Maybe just do it all around the board, or like, my whole thing is like, I personally think Joe Rogan, he fucked up. Like, he made some really bad decisions, but like, I don't think that, I think like silencing him or just like canceling him is not going to be like the sacrificial lamb thing. I think Joe Rogan actually, I believe that he can improve. He's willing to improve. That he feels bad for what he did, or that's the argument people are like. But like,
no, I mean, I think the first part of the reason why people were trying the controversy was about him, quote unquote, spreading misinformation about the vaccine, right? Yeah. So what I say was, well, what he did was he invited, like people in, like that are in certain fields related to the topic, and they gave their opinion. This is not the news, man. Like, this is not factual shit. Basically, it's basically two people having a discussion, and both can be right, both can be wrong. Who knows what it is, right? But my whole thing is that, like, it's not like he is fucking CNN. Even CNN tells random shit. But my whole thing is like, none of these news mediums is factual news. You just take it for whatever you want to take it for, right?
A lot of things are out of context. So
things
in context.
Yeah. So I go, hey, he can say whatever the fuck he wants, and it's on you to listen or not, right?
Yeah, I tend to believe that.
But because of the fact that he has the most, he's probably the biggest podcast in the world, right? And it was on the news of how much he made from Spotify. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it seems to me that like okay, with our podcast, right? Ain't nobody listening to it and watching it. It's like 100 people, maybe 200 at most, right? Both on video and audio, right? If we said something wild, there's nothing to cancel, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Until we get to a level where it's like, holy shit, this dude is a mover. These guys are movers and shakers now. And now we're going to see people like to see the downfall of people, I think. I think that's what the interesting fact is that like they are like just because whatever you or I said made someone feel bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that the main factor? They're waiting for the people that they don't agree with to blow up to a point where they're like, now is the time to bring this person down. And that's the part that I don't agree with. And that's not just America, that's all over the world. And I see it all the time. You know what I mean? Where I go, you know, like, sure, but you can agree with it or not, right?
Yeah.
But it is on you to watch it or don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in this day and age,
your job.
It is. We have more responsibility to actually fact check and do lateral reading, right, or research, and make sure that there's, you know, it's on us not to take what they say as, you know, as fact or you know, or the end all be all. Like, and so I don't know, for Joe, it's like I feel like anyone that's great in history, right? They became great because of their mistakes. It's what you do when you learn, when you make a mistake, and you reset and you move forward with the knowledge of, oh, I fucked up in the past, but I am who I am because I realized I fucked up, and I bettered myself, and I became a better person from it. And that's where I'm leaning towards more for like the whole cancel culture is like, all right, some people just, okay, I might agree they just should not, you know, exist and have a say when it comes to being in the public eye. But then I think some people can, we can benefit from them going through these, you know, being called out for their mistakes and seeing them improve and get better, and, you know, like, and not make the same mistakes, or, you know, we can learn from that because us ourselves that are not in the public eye, that's life for us too. We fuck up all the time, but it's just we don't have that platform. Joe Rogan's done what, 1,800 podcast episodes? Like, so there's a lot to like, you can pull out things out of context on every subject.
I personally believe that it is fucking ridiculous for people to dig into 10 years ago, right, of things that I said, because for whatever reason, right? I mean, because everybody on planet Earth 10 years ago probably said some foul shit that doesn't fly now, right? We could even talk about stand-up comedy for that matter, right? People who consider Eddie Murphy's Delirious and Raw as genius shit, if you listen to it now, there's fucking hardcore anti-gay shit that won't fly now, right? Similarly to word use. So my point is that like it's like going back in time to punish them now, right? Unless it's something like gross, like not something they said, but it's something that's like grossly like he committed a murder 10 years ago, right? That's different, right? But if it's something you said, and on top of that, not knowing the context, you can't fucking go after him. Hey, people tried for a little bit to go after Eminem for his lyrics recently. These young kids that never heard his music when he started out. What are we doing here? Like, and all this is just a waste of time, of just because they're pissed off that, number one, right, they can't go out like they used to. Everyone's fucking wearing masks and shit because COVID fucked things up. So now they're frustrated. They're not making the same amount of money, blah, 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 blah. And now they're angry. And the only thing they can use their negative energy is bringing down people that are seemingly happier than them, right? Or doing better than them.
I mean, even all those things, like, you bring up a good point. You bring up a good point with Eddie Murphy, right? Like, we know, because we grew up in that era and we loved his stand-up comedy, right? But like, yeah, absolutely. I think even now, if you were to have a conversation with Eddie Murphy and bring it up, like, I tend to believe that he would, like, he's correct. He's auto-corrected already. Like, he doesn't speak that way or believe that way. Like, he doesn't believe that it's okay to make those jokes anymore because the time we live in now. Although not to this extent, like, I think society is too sensitive, and I mean the cancel culture is too sensitive. That's dangerous too, because I believe that that's detrimental to our children, because we're raising them in a way where, you know, like, in real life, they're actually encountering things, like messed up things all the time, and they won't know how to deal with it unless they create, you give them room to have tough skin, to grow tough skin. I think that's the difference between our generation and the generation now, and the cancel culture is, and where the conversation isn't being, you know, like, had enough, is that, like, we have a different kind of thick skin that we were able to navigate through life a little bit more, you know, not so much with sensitivity, being so sensitive that you can't say anything in public, or you can't make mistakes. You can't do, you know, like, that's a bad thing to teach our kids, because you become the man or woman or whatever it is you want to call yourself. You are defined by your mistakes. You're allowed to make mistakes. To be human is to be someone that makes mistakes, you know? It's the way you handle it from the next day forward. You know, that makes us, that builds character. But, like, we're raising kids in a generation where they don't even have a chance to build real character because they're walking on eggshells all the time, and they can't make mistakes anymore.
I mean, but let me tell you this, man. Like, what we say right now, today, couldn't be viewed as a quote unquote mistake 10 years from now.
Oh yeah. I totally agree.
Right.
Yeah.
So my point is that it's the, whether or not, to be honest, I don't care if Eddie Murphy auto-corrected or not. That's not where my focus is on. My focus is on people that are going to go after, that might go after him for something he said on a comedy special, or who, you know, in a private, I heard him, let's say hypothetically, like, obviously, like, I heard him speak at a diner. He was at a table next door, and this is what he said, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When are we going to, when are we going to stop doing that? Right. Mm-hmm. Like, to me, the idea of all of this is that, like, I feel like Mugatu, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Like, what are y'all doing? You know what I mean? And it goes to last week's episode where I go, hey, can I be the judge of all of this where you can and cannot be canceled? But then people, let's say I get that fame and power and whatever, people are like, well, Danny, you said this about so-and-so, and you said this about this group, and you said this about that group. And I'm like, yo, man, like, it's always going to be this. You know, we open that box, and it's time for companies and people that make the decisions to be better about, like, going, hey, you're being ridiculous, and versus, like, oh my God, I don't want to risk losing $1 for my yearly earnings for the company, so I'm going to like bend the knee to all these interest groups. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's somebody has to do it, because if you keep on bending the knee, right, then they're going to be more empowered to be like, oh shit, this shit works. I told you about a kid that I know who used to be a professional troller, right? And I go, why did you do it back in the days? And he goes, it felt good to know that I ruined someone's day. You know what I mean? And to be honest, I don't think he's in the super minority when it comes to that. I think there's a lot of people that go, ooh, that felt good. That felt good that, like, I fucked this person's life up, or fucked this day up, right? And
Yeah,
so like,
that has everything to do with the generation of like access and internet. Like being, us so disconnected from real human interaction, right? Like I think Louis talked about this where he was saying, yeah, like when you called a kid fat when you're in school, right? You see that you hurt their feelings in their face. In their face, they get like, oh, that doesn't feel good. I shouldn't do that again.
Yeah.
So you don't do that again, right? But when you text it and you're like, you call someone fat and you know that you don't see their expression and that you hurt their feeling, like it doesn't compute in your mind and your soul like these days, because as strongly as it would if it was in person, right? So that makes you feel like it's just cause and effect, right?
Yeah.
That's all you care about, right? And then you take an emotion out of the what do you call it? The empathy or the that's the biggest difference. Yeah, I mean, we're living in a different day and age. I feel sorry for that friend. It makes me sick to my stomach that made him feel good, because I've seen people be hurt by words, and
yeah, I mean, but again, to me, the idea is like knowing that there is people like this that exist, right? And it's not just him, and it's not just 100 people. I think there's a big group of people that do that, right? Yeah. Why are we giving these people power to influence how things are done? Matter of fact, let's say Spotify does take Joe Rogan off their platform. Mm-hmm. Joe can go to a lot of places. You know what I mean?
He can start his own platform. I think it's not a matter of. Yeah, I think Joe Rogan is. That's why I tend to believe his apologies and the way he's dealing with it. It's because he doesn't need Spotify. He already has their money. He can go somewhere else and do the same thing and probably make more money, given that. But he's doing the right thing. Sure, he's probably afraid of getting canceled, but I don't know. Like it seems sincere for me. I don't know. A lot of people might think differently. This brings up another point that we wanted to talk about today, where it's hits a little bit more close to home, I guess, because it happened to an Asian American with Awkwafina. She's in the news again, and this came out before, but it just came out again. With the whole black scent and her statements of saying, it's not within her nature to put any or to offend anyone, right? And she quit Twitter or something like that. That was like this week's headline for her. But she's being canceled. People are trying to cancel her for just that whole thing of her accent in her work. As a rapper, I guess, as an actor,
she's from Queens.
I know, and I'm from New York too, so for me, it's harder for me to wrap my head around, the accusations, because when I hear her speak, it just sounds like she's from Queens. She's from New York, for that matter.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
went to my high school.
I think it's.
She sounds
obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's like for a role, and it's for, let's say it's a comedy movie or whatever the character is required of the character, right? Yeah, that accent might be tuned up a little bit or turned down a little bit versus how you speak during an interview. Yeah, like what I mean, like on TV, right? Like what do they call it? Code switching, right? Where people for me, when I grew up in a predominantly Mexican neighborhood, right? So in the beginning, I used to speak like I was from that area, right? And it took me years to kind of get rid of that accent, right? And it was on purpose. But so I go. So what do you want her to speak then? How do you want her? Do you want her to speak in a hacky Asian accent, right? Yeah. Or do you want her to speak like quote unquote normal, which is theoretically white, right? Then that's your white sense. What are we talking about here, right? And so again, it's people getting, like, I understand that people might be offended by it, but it's to a point where, you know what I mean? Like where, you know, like, okay. So like, for example, there's a while back, Jeremy Lin had dreads. Yeah. Cornrows, right? Cornrows.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were like, yo, you're appropriating Black hairstyles. Right. And another basketball player went after him a little bit. And he's like, oh, okay. I mean, and then Jeremy Lin responded with that, well, you know, if I've offended you, I apologize. But you know that that tattoo on your arm is my people's language. You know what I mean? So I was like, but again, it's like, where is the line for this? You know what I mean? Like where, I mean, this is ours and you can't have it. Is that right? I don't, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think that's right. You know?
Yeah. I believe all of this kind of like, if anything, it opens up conversations that some people need to hear. So that's the good thing that comes out of it, right? And so debating and having these conversations is very, very important, I think, in order for us to, you know, decide where we stand, you know, and then like, I mean, really the point is understanding each other, right? Understanding the people that are upset. You know, everyone has some sort of validity in their statements and their beliefs, right? And so you want to at least hear them out, you know, because, you know, people attacking Awkwafina like might not know her whole story either. They might, some of them might think straight up she's from Ohio or something. I don't know. You know, like for me, it's like I grew up in New York. I had a New York accent. I kind of phased it out during college because I was self-conscious about it. It was stupid, but you know, when I go back home, I find my accent coming back when I'm around other New Yorkers. You know, am I supposed to be like, did I do something wrong? You know, like nobody has that context if they've never met me, right? And so I can be.
No, so my point is that because they've never met you, right? And someone be like, "Yo, why are you talking funny? Why are you doing the quote unquote black scent or whatever scent you want to call it?" Right?
Yeah.
There's to me, do you understand the absurdity of it? Is that like that is what is it fucking grinds your gears? Is that like I talk like I'm not supposed to in your eyes? Get the fuck out of here. Why would you judge that? Who made you the person to be determining how one person and what accent they should speak? You know what I mean? And even if it's fake, you know, I mean, now if it's like an over the top caricature, right? But then, dude, like, you know, when we were younger and have you ever seen like, so this was an old Opie and Anthony bit, right? Where they talked about the movie Independence Day, right? Okay. Remember that movie Independence Day? And you remember Jeff Goldblum's dad, Judd Hirsch?
Yeah.
He played an over-the-top Jew guy, right? Like, you know, like, and for me, I didn't know, right? But then the Opie, Anthony, and Jim Norton pointed it out, was like, that is such an over-the-top Jew guy accent. Like, that's like not even right.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, unless
it's an exaggeration. Yeah. But Patrice O'Neal was in the studio, and he did not know that was over the top. He just thought that was how an old Jewish guy talks.
Yeah.
Right. So then it went into, have you ever noticed, especially back in the days when there was like some random like black extra, like who's like a character or whatever, like, you know, when like an old Superman movie where like Superman like just takes off and then it cuts to like a random bystander who happens to be black and he's like, ooh, that motherfucker can fly, right? Like it was like nobody that it's the same degree of like exaggeration, right?
Yeah.
Where maybe the people in that community might roll their eyes and be like, oh my God, why are you doing that, right? To John Malkovich in Rounders having a terrible Russian accent.
Yeah.
Right? To Jack Black and in Nacho Libre and whatever the fucking accent that is. Right?
Right.
And I'm not saying go after all of them. I'm just saying like why are you attacked? What are we doing? Why are you attacking somebody for a role? Right? If anything, she shouldn't be to blame. If you have somebody to fucking bitch at, right? It would be the people who made the film. And even then, you're fucking retarded. Oh, by the way, I can't even say that word now because I'm going to get canceled 10 years from now. So even then, you sound weird. There? So again, like all this like talk about like, it's part of the reason why I kind of left, not left, but I kind of wanted to take a break and come to this country to kind of like not deal with like the PC culture, right? Which is ridiculous because I came here and it's just as bad. If it's not worse because it's a smaller, like, you know, faster internet, more people are on their phone culture, you know, but yo, man, like the people that, like, I'm not saying be quiet. I'm not saying you can be. I'm not saying don't be upset. That's not what I'm saying, right? But what I'm saying is that if you give the power to do something like that, right? Then the people that are attacking are gonna be like, "Oh, see, this shit works. Now I'm gonna go to the next topic where I'm gonna flex my power, right?" And power corrupts, man. Like I feel like no matter how good intentioned people are, as a whole, as society as a whole, or as a group, you know.
Yeah.
We're all kind of assholes, man.
Well, I mean, the whole thing with Joe Rogan and stuff, like I've never really taken anything he said as a complete fact. Just because, you know, I've always been wary about what he says because I know he's into conspiracy theories. And so that automatically makes me not maybe make me want to question, like, you know, what he's saying and stuff. But really, I only watch the episodes when he has comedians on that I like. And I don't really watch the other shows or other episodes where he has on experts and whatnot. Even the popular ones. Like I haven't seen the Navy SEAL one. I know that's really, really popular. But I just watch the comedians, like when Bill Burr's on, Dave Chappelle, you know, Jim Gaffigan, whatever. Like any comedian, like I like those episodes the best because I love when comedians get together and they talk shop, and yeah, I just have a lot of respect for that culture. So for me, it's like
my thing is that, as you say, you don't take everything he says as fact, right?
I take it with a grain of salt. Like if it comes to something like he says we should be doing, you know, if it's along those lines, like even with COVID and vaccinations and stuff, I'm not going to Joe Rogan for facts. You know, like what I'm saying is that your approach is a healthy approach, right? Unfortunately, I believe that the majority of humans don't take that approach. It's kind of like you ever see like on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever your social media is, right? And there's a link to an article, right? But you see the headline, right? But the headline is clickbaity as hell. Yeah.
Right? A lot of times you're not going to read the article. You're just going to be like, I know what this article is about because I saw the headline.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Similarly, and I feel, and then once that's in your head, You believe that that is fact because it's an article. Somebody needed to write it. Yeah. And then you start spreading that shit around and you believe that that's fact. Right?
Yeah.
So it goes back to this whole like mob mentality of people, and in fact checking. What are you talking about? Like people, like in this day and age of algorithms, they call it an echo chamber, right? So whatever you're into, let's say you lean left, right?
Uh-huh.
And your searches and your whatever you view is that, then that's all you see.
Yeah.
Right. And you're not going to see all the right shit or the middle shit. Yeah. Right. So ultimately you're going to be like, I'm right. Mm. And these guys then look at, see, most the people around me. Yeah.
Most people are stuck in that predicament.
So nobody's going to be objective, or nobody's going to do any fact checking, or nobody's going to I don't say nobody, but I'm going to say that the majority of people are going to be like, okay, well, I like Joe Rogan. So what he says is fact. And I guarantee you that there are there's a shit ton of people that are going to.
Yeah. I did say on this podcast that, I tend to believe in things that Bill Burr says because he's right. I feel like we're in line in terms of like him not being a sheep, and you know. So like, but anyway, like I don't know. One of the things I did like that, and I think is more of the issue for me, particularly about this whole issue, is like India Arie made a statement about Joe Rogan. It's not more for me. She said something that spoke to me personally, which was she's mad that Spotify gave Joe Rogan $100+ million, and then the artists for some reason are getting less and less per play. Like we're getting fractions of pennies per play. And my music is on, my whole catalog is on, most of it's on Spotify. And I know exactly what she means when she says that. Why are you giving $100 million to a podcaster on a music platform that you don't pay your artist out? That's the bigger issue for me, I think, that came out of this. And it reminded me, yeah, you know what? I kind of hope and wish on some level that Spotify gets called out on that more and more out of this. And that and ultimately that musicians can be, get something good out of all of this bullshit. So, I remember I saw her saying something about that, and I was like, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, that I'm sure that that's a bigger issue that as a musician, and that makes more sense. But but to me the memes that came out was like someone posed as the Nickelback Instagram account or something and wrote, if Spotify doesn't cancel Joe Rogan, then we threaten to put our music into Spotify, right? Or like you know what I mean?
Yeah, James Blunt did that. James Blunt, that singer that sings "You're Beautiful." That's was like if Joe Rogan isn't taken off of Spotify, I vow to put another album out or something like that.
That's hilarious. Yeah. Ultimately, man, I've that's why, ultimately when you just start like going, I'm going to watch fucking puppy videos.
Yeah. Right.
And kitten videos and little baby videos. Right. Because I am sick and tired of the nonsense that I've been seeing. Like there's obviously ultimately and here's the other thing. It's like, why can't I believe what I believe and you believe what you believe and we're all cool still? You know what I mean?
I think that's
why is it? Yeah.
That's what this podcast is. That you and I don't agree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we accept each other and our differences because at least in my life, that's the life I want to live. I want to be okay with having friends with different ideologies, religions, what have you, because I feel like we all have something good to give, and we're all human. We can actually make each other better people. And you do that in my life, right? So you help me question the right questions for myself when I see the way you deal with certain things in your life, and it's all good as long as it's all good and it's all like adding to the positive character that we strive for. I want those people in my life, but it's not about like finding like-minded people. Like I don't think life is about that. So.
But I feel like this is what society is turning into now.
Yeah, trying to make it all like woke and all like incredibly sensitive,
right.
Where it's just gonna be, it's not gonna be good in the end, or it's gonna be really tough for our kids.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, I don't have kids, and like back in the days, like I remember I had a gig in San Francisco, right, and then there was some lady passing out flyers, and it was about like saving the environment, right? And I was like, no, thank you. And then she's like, you don't care about the environment? And I was like, no, not really. And then she goes, well, if not you, what about your kids or your grandkids? And I was like, I don't know. I haven't met those motherfuckers. They might be assholes, right? Now I said it as a joke, but here's the part that, and I yelled at her, and I was like, you're talking about the environment and you're passing out fucking flyers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You just killed the tree.
You're an asshole too. What are you fucking talking about? And so ultimately, like my thought is that, like, let's say you care about the environment a lot, Bobby, let's say, right? And I kind of don't, right? Yeah. I just do it. I recycle because I'm forced to, right? The vaccine, I don't know if I believe it or not, to be honest, right? I do it because I want to eat at a restaurant. I want to go out. So I'm just like, I'm a sheep in that, but have I done research on things? No, So that's where I stand on it, right? And then there are people that are like hardcore anti-vaxxers, right? Mm-hmm. I know some anti-vaxxers in Korea, and I was like, how you gonna go out? According to the system. I'm not even going to question their belief process or whatever. I'm just going to be like, look, all right, that's the hill you want to stand on, right? Then do it. It's going to be tough, but if you believe in it, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like anti-vax or pro-vax. Like, yeah, I'm still willing to have the conversation. I'm not completely educated on the subject, right? So I'm not going to be like, oh, you guys are idiots for not being pro-vaccine. Absolutely not. Like I'm down for the conversation, as long as you're down for the conversation as well.
But let's be honest here, is that like, if you have a conversation these days with most, well, not most, but a lot of people, right? There is just going to be a point about I'm right and you're wrong on both sides, right? Dude, yeah. The other day in front of my house, or like in nearby house, there were women and children with megaphones who basically were urging people not to get vaccinated because, quote unquote, there's parasites in the vaccine.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I go,
a video. Yeah. Someone sent me a video about it.
And I was like, there's parasites, and so now this is what we're talking about here, obviously the parasite, if there was one, is not doing a good job, because I'm assuming that if I had a parasite in my body, I'd be slimmer.
Bill Burr has I don't know if he's serious or not, but it's kind of a funny thought. He was saying when it comes to anti-vaxxers, I mean, since he's pro-vax, he's just like, oh yeah, let them be, like it'll help with population control if it doesn't work out for them. So it's funny on some level. It can get serious, but like I tend to, I'm kind of like, clearly I'm more in the boat of pro-vaccination and whatnot, but my whole family is, so I'm kind of like committed to it. And if we happen to be wrong, then I'll pay for those decisions. Right now there's other pressing matters as well, and if we're not going to live to see a certain age, then so be it. Like those are decisions I'm willing to live with. Okay. And then I don't want to go any further. It can get really long, this conversation. We're already over time.
I almost lost a friend recently because of it, because the person said, I don't know what's in the vaccine, so I don't know what they're putting in my body. Right. And I said, this is coming from a person who has a lot of plastic surgery done. Do you know exactly what they're putting in your face and your body then? Mm-hmm. And she's like, it's not the same thing. And I was like, maybe, I don't know. Like
it's like it makes me think of McDonald's, like do you know what you're really eating? Like You're eating food that doesn't decompose. Yeah. Like it's like, but I'll do it anyway because like I'll take that chance. I love McDonald's, and if it's gonna shave like 10 years off of my life, I've already those are the consequences, right? But like I don't like Anyway, before it gets a little too crazy, I think we should wrap up. I want to try to get this out by 8. It's already 6:06, and I got to do some editing. So, any final words? Anything? We're gonna try to do this next week with a guest, and hopefully that works out. So, stay tuned for that. Danny, hopefully I get to see you in person before things get worse. And then,
You are are you bad at ending everything in life? Like
no, I'm trying to not forget. Yeah, I am. Talk about beating around the bush. I am dropping some more NFTs. So please, if you are in that space, consider buying one of my NFTs to help a brother out. And
dang, man, you're like most Korean movies, man. Yeah, endings are terrible, yo.
Yeah, right. All this build up. You should see my movie. Jeez. Although the ending is good, but everything else sucks.
Yeah, you should see my movie.
Oh my gosh. All right, guys.
All right. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next week. Peace.
Stay safe.